Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my channel. Inshallah, today we will be studying about articulation points. And this is just going to be the introduction. So let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Places of articulation. And let's look at this. What is the meaning of articulation? What is it all about? So basically, the articulation point of a letter is the place the letter is emitted, meaning a sound that comes out of the mouth relying on a specific place of articulation or an approximate one. Using the correct articulation point of a letter is necessary to utter the letter correctly, and of course this is even more important when reciting the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Quran. Almost all the articulation points in Arabic are specific places, but there are some that have a general area of articulation. There are ways for you to see what articulation point you are using for a letter, not necessarily the correct one, so that you can compare what you are using to correct the way of articulating a letter. Number 1, you can pronounce a letter with a shadda. In other words, you can double the letter. Number 2, you can pronounce a letter with no vowel and put a hamza before the letter you are checking. So let's look at how to pronounce the letter with a shadda and how to check the makhaarij of that letter. So if you pronounce the ba with a shadda on it and then hamza before it, it will be like abba. And if you pronounce ta with a shad on it, it will be like atta. And if you pronounce letter tha with a shadda on it, it will sound like atha. And you can do the same thing for all the letters of Arabic. And if you want to pronounce a letter with no vowel and put a hamza before the letter you are checking, you will pronounce it like for example, if you want to check letter ba, then you will place hamza before it and it will sound like ab, and on the ba there will be a sukoon. So you will connect the hamza with the ba. If you want to check the letter ta, you will do the same thing. You will put a sukoon on the ta and you will place hamza before it and you'll connect the hamza to the ta. So it will sound like at. And for letter tha, it will sound like as. And you can repeat this same process with all the Arabic letters. You can then check the position of your tongue, mouth, or feel what area of the throat you are using in order to pronounce these letters. So while you're doing these steps, you can check the position of your tongue, mouth, or feel what area of the throat you are using. This way you will know exactly which area that letter is coming from. So this is the way you can check the articulation point of each letter. There are actually 5 general areas of the throat and mouth that have within them the specific or general articulation points of the Arabic letters. The first one is the empty space in the mouth and throat. It has in it one articulation point for the 3 lengthened letters, which are waw with no vowel with a dhamma before it, ya with no vowel with a kasra before it, and an alif with a fatha before it. Inshallah, in future I will go into more detail about each area, but for now I'm just giving you an outline. The next area, the general area from which the letters come from, is the throat. In this we have basically 3 articulation points, and from each of those articulation points 2 letters come, and in total that gives us 6 different letters that come from the throat, which are pronounced from the deepest, middle, and closest part of the throat. the closest part that is closest to the mouth. Okay, so we have the deepest part, which is closest to the chest, then the middle part of the throat, then the closest part of the throat. And from each place we have 2 letters, and if you count it up all, then in total from throat we have 6 different letters that are articulated. And the third area is the tongue, and it has 10 articulation points, and from those 10 articulation points we have 18 letters. Then the fourth general area is the 2 lips. The lips have 2 articulation points for 4 letters. Inshallah, we will discuss about that in future, inshallah. And then we have the nasal passage. From the hole of nose towards the inside of the mouth, here there is 1 articulation point, that is of the ghunna. And we will inshallah talk about what ghunna is. So basically you have all of these 5 general areas, and from these 5 general areas, the empty space in the mouth and throat, the throat itself, the tongue, the 2 lips, and the nasal passage. From these areas you get all the letters, and there are different articulation points within these areas, which we will be discussing inshallah in future in more detail. The following picture shows these areas. So as you can see, this is the throat, and there are these 6 letters that come from the throat. Then we have the empty space in the mouth and throat, and then we have this tongue, and the fourth area is the 2 lips, from which these 4 letters come, the letter waw, ba, mim, and fa, which we will be discussing in more detail later on. So I'm just telling you about the general areas of articulation points in this video. And the last one is the nasal passage. So that's about it for today. Jazakumullah khair for watching. Inshallah, I will see you in next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.